spiritual walk, because it's to save us, right? We got some shit going on, and it's to save us. So I was at the point in my life where I was at a spiritual bypass. You know what I'm saying? I had a woman that was trying to kill me. She was trying to take me out of here. And I've had people try to come at me before, but this bitch was serious about her business, and she was trying to but she done bury me or like everything. She's the craziest thing, and she's supposed to be a church lady. Not even the wickedest, evilest bitch ever, right? And she tried to kill me, and so my ancestors was like, you want to take care of this or not? Because I seen and talk. I tell you, I come from a spiritual family, very spiritual family, very active spiritual family. You know what I'm saying? But I'm young. I don't want to do that. I don't want to be in there in the room in the white smelling that shit all day. I don't want to do that. I want to be out here in the clubs. I want to be out here running, and I want to be living. I've been seeing and talking spiritual since I was 2. I come from spiritual. Everybody in my family is spiritual. Everybody. It didn't miss not one of us. Normally in families it'd be a generation that it missed. Not my family. That's not how we come. Everybody's touched. Everybody. So it's like a no escape. And they knew that they had to present water on my door for me to like really go into this. And when I saw and started to see, because when I first started, right, I started coming back into my spiritual walk. I had come in contact with a young lady that was part of the 21 divisions, and she was like my age, and she lived her life, but she still did her spiritual stuff. And she kind of got me back into being more spiritual and working with my guides and all this other kind of stuff, because when I would go to her house, they would just flock me, right? And it just showed me that she's young and still living her life and being spiritual. Bitch, why you can't? So that was the first step. So then that was my first step of getting back, and then the war started to turn up. So it was little steps like that they had me do in order to get me back in. Now my brother he always kept ties with the African traditional people, the spiritual people, the communities here in New York. He always kept in contact with them. So it had came to a point where I had did all of, my grandmother did what she could do, and this lady was going in on me, like in. They was like, you need more. So my brother was like, I got a lady for you to go get a reading from. So she was crowned in Ocha, and she was also a paleta. And when I met her, she just, this was my first, I had two, I was part of one Ocha house before, but he was Ifa, right? And then the other Babalao that I had dealt with before that, he was dirty. And my ancestor, it wasn't even my ancestors at that point, it was Shango at that point, stopped me from being taken advantage of with this man and sent me to this lady. That was only between the interjection of my Orisha and my ancestors, because you have to remember that when I was 2 weeks old, the Orisha had started to come to my mother for me. And so they have been with me since I was born, right? 2 weeks old, they started presenting themselves to my mother. So it's not like I didn't know Orisha. When we were children, we used to go down to the Oyotunji village with the original chief that was down there in in the Carolinas, which was the African village, which is now one of the main places for Shango's energy down in the Carolinas. But back then it was something else, right? We don't deal with them anymore. This was, I'm in my 40s, okay? I'm talking about when I was less than 10. So I'm talking 30-something years ago. And so joined her house, and my Orisha started to take a lot of stuff for me, right? And in that, the ancestors started to grow, because they weren't allowing us to do Orisha work without the ancestral veneration, the ancestral stuff. They were pushing on it, right? And so the first house, we had a falling out, because the godmother did not want her house to be an Egun house. And my ancestors said, my kids, my bloodline came here to do Egun work. They can do Orisha work, but you're going to start them off the right way. You're going to start them off foundational. You're going to do This Egun works, so you can try to do them the way that they do them other kids coming into this with pushing Arisha first. But mine are not doing that way. My ancestors bum rushed my first Ultra House godmother. And she ain't like it. She didn't want that for her house. She wanted an Ultra House. But this was the sacrifice. For her to have the powerful, strong house that she was supposed to have if she did right with us, she was supposed to nurture us spiritually, ancestral, and Egun based first, and then carry it to Arisha. That's not what she wanted to do. She wanted to hide, cover our guides, block the connection with the guides, push them back, and funnel us to Arisha. What did my Egun do? They shut her Ultra House down. That's not what we said we wanted you to do with our kids. My ancestors. My court. The same ones that she tried to because she put a sheet over me to cover me from my guides. She did that with a couple of the people in my family. They do this. How Ultra? She did that. She wanted it the way she wanted it. And Spirit said, who the fuck told you? I told you going in, if you was going to be dealing with this clique, this is what it is. This is their job. I don't care what you got on your head. I don't care what you said your house is. If you take them, this is the road. She said no. They said bye. Me and all of my family, it was like 13, it was a gang of us. We all left. That's the house. That's the house of your seers. That's the house of your spirit. And she was intuitive too. But you can't be more intuitive than her. You can't have guides that she don't have. You can't have connections and information that she don't have. She ain't like that shit. She was like, these motherfuckers are seeing too much. Not one of them don't see. That's a problem for me. I can't do the way that I want to do them because one of these bastards is going to see something. Block them. Block them. This is what she was back there trying to do. That's what made me walk wholehearted into this. That's what made me say, not near another person is going to come for my life, try to block my guides, try to block my walk, try to block my destiny, try to block any of what's supposed to be mine. What I got to do, I want it, I'm going for it. What I got to give up? What's the sacrifice? What are my taboos? What? Tell me. It was worth it for me. Because I saw how much it was worth it for them to block it. That's how I knew it was lit. For her to go through those limbs, for the bitch to go through the lymph for trying to kill me, because I wasn't even doing nothing spiritual over there. I was being with her son, and she had did some shit to her son that if I was to stay with him, I was going to see it and be able to take it off of him. And she didn't want that, because she had him tied to her for life. And my people break shit like that. You understand what I'm saying? And she was like, oh, hell no. He can't bring her over here. This bitch is going to see it. You know what I'm saying? She done went and got a reading, and they done told her, you better get him away from her if you want this shit to stick. Because if she come through there and if she got a baby for him, it's over for y'all. She was like, no. Bury the bitch now. My people was like, not my baby. She got work to do here. And your raggedy old ass ain't going to be the one that punch her ticket. So everything I had stood up. And I acknowledged everything that I had when it stood up. I embraced it because it embraced me. I took that rope because they threw it down to me in a time that if I didn't, that was my choice to say, I'm coming in here. Because I could have stayed over there and say, I'm going to fight for love. I was like, fuck the whole clique of them. I'm going over here where Spirit is at because they got the ratchets and I want to be over here with the clacks. Y'all got them for me? Give me the cases. I want them. What do I have to do? And in that walk, it taught me everything that I knew. It empowered me. Every hit that I took was something to teach me how I block it and punch it back. Everything that they did to me was a way to catch it and show this is how the bitch do it. Now this is what you do to block it. I got so many secrets in my box from shit that people did to me. They done told me how to come around it and get away from it and protect myself. That's how I'm able to tell people how to protect themselves. I had to walk through that to show people how to get through that. I had to live through that to know how hard it was, because it was a fight. And it was expensive. And it was a struggle. And it was heartbreaking. And it was trying. And it was all of those things. But they knew that I was born in fire. So you present that to my door, and like a phoenix, bitch, you better back up, because Dracarys, I'm coming through. That's the power of my spirit. That's the power of my Ori. That's the power of understanding that I am authentically almost Shango. We do not back up from a fight. That is not how I was born into this on a physical level nor on a spiritual level. I don't come from a line of punks. I don't come from a line of snitches. And I don't come from a line of running to tell massa. I come from a line of we gonna cut it out of you if that's the way it needs to be done if you bring it over here. I'll pray it with you first. But if you come the wrong way, then we got some other shit for you back here too. And with all of that, I had to teeter in the middle of that. Because that's a responsibility that one holds when you come with so much heat and so much fire. They had to see me be able to balance that and not take it to another level. I got to keep it under the God at all times. Whether I'm shooting it back or whether I'm protecting myself or whether I'm protecting the ones that I love, it must not go a little bit too much to the left. That's what their job is, not mine. My job is to be obedient to my spirit. My God is to be obedient to my path. My job is to be obedient to my walk and not drip extra sauce just because I can. When they saw that I was responsible with my gifts, that's how they gave me more. That's how more guides stepped up for me. That's how the ones that most people can't get come and say, and straight up will mount me. And then other people in the room is looking like, yo, she just mounted X, Y, and Z. Yes. They know that I am not going to use, because remember, there's a balance to everything. And most of these spirit guides will work both ways. If you lean into that, if it is required of them. I don't require them to do nothing that God has not anointed.